Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Railway Empire. This is Intro Aether. So, following on from the end of the last episode, we was sorting out our cotton train here to start feeding this cloth making factory, the weaving factory. So that's that sorted. We really need to start trying to grow buffalo. We have a task here to reach a population of 70,000, and of course we need to get on that sooner. There will be a point where you can't grow it fast enough, so even though you haven't reached the point where the task has failed, you have effectively failed, so we want to make sure we stay ahead of the ball there. And our quarterly profit of 800,000 is proving to be a complete pain at the moment, but I do think once we start supplementing buffalo with more of the things it requires. We've got a corn farm here. Excuse me. So we're going to be bringing corn into Buffalo. There's currently a demand that doesn't seem to be getting any land deliveries at all for corn. So that's going to be some profit. Obviously our cotton trains are now going to start making some profit. And once we've got the weaving factory producing, we can then start supplementing the clothing factories. So there's more profit there. But I think this really is a lesson in how at the beginning of the game you can almost be a little too greedy. You can just continue to expand and ignore the maintenance. And once you get a lot of trains, I mean, if we zoom out, look how many trains we've got on this piece of line here. When you start experiencing breakdowns, it really has a knock-on effect and really impacts the amount of money that you can make per quarter. So I think if we'd started again, we'd probably have gone straight to Buffalo and centered our attention on growing buffalo. It would have meant we didn't have as much money getting there. But you see, Baltimore really isn't anything to do with any of the tasks. I think it's very tempting to come down this way at the start, but probably if I started again, the best way would be to go straight to Buffalo. Right, anyway, and then we need to get our wheat here into Syracuse, because we've got a brewery factory industry in Syracuse. And we're going to want to start transporting beer into Buffalo to help the buffalo growth. We do also have a sawmills in Buffalo, so we can run a simple line from here just into the back of this station. We'll just expand it and make it 2 tracks, and that'll be a cheap, effective way of getting some extra profit from that wood there. But first things first today, we do have a train, a Syracuse wheat train. So we have one of them. We're going to want to double this up. Now I'm not going to double track the entire piece, but we do want to double track in this position, nice and close to where the merging switch is, just so we can get that train off of the main line, and if it does have to wait, it can then wait in this siding where it's not impacting anything else. So that's that done. I'm also going to do the same thing, a piece of double track up here, just because depending on where they are on their journey, we don't particularly want them waiting around for that entire length of track there. So that's a relatively cheap way of being able to run multiple trains on this track, and knowing that the trains that are going to be coming back here are going to be empty. We can signal accordingly here. I won't put another one here, it's getting a little bit close to that switch. But we can effectively stack 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as many as you want basically, because you know the trains are going to be coming back empty. So therefore you can account for that with these signals. Just double check we've got that correct. Yes, that's fine. So we're going to double this train up, just clone him straight away as soon as we get money. Actually, I want to talk about the research. We were going for this, which is the standardized components, and that gives us a reduction in buying new locomotives. But the thing is, it's getting so expensive now to replace our locomotives. I'm not sure we're going to have enough money to do it. It might be better for us just to invest our science points in some bonuses for, say, transportation of freight and things like that, that will have a direct impact on our quarterly profits. And of course it would be a shame to fail this scenario by not reaching this 800,000. But I would say that's a real possibility at the moment. We only have another 4 quarters to go, and we're already 2 weeks into the first one of those. Only time will tell. I'm not playing the game sort of ahead of time, I'm playing it as we are, so it's possible it all goes horribly wrong. See, packages isn't particularly going to help. We don't have that many of those anyway. I mean, it looks like we're going to be going to the standardised components anyway. There isn't many other places to go. What have we got here? This is to do with selling the locomotives. Passengers. Passengers. Maintenance. Ah, man. So we can clone this guy now. Now I did want to make sure we at least had a water tower. We've got one here, but of course our
Somehow, your trains don't run smoothly.
Tell me about it. Unfortunately, our wheat train's not going to make use of this. It would have been better actually to have moved that supply tower and put it, say, here. In actual fact, I think that's what I'm going to do. As long as we have enough room, yeah, we can go a train distance along from there. So let's just place that. We'll leave the other one there as well, there's no point in deleting it. So next thing is going to be starting to supplement buffalo so we can get that growing, and that's naturally going to increase our profits. Corn here again is on 0.0, so that's what we'll be doing next. And the nearest corn is here. Let's have a look at the contours. Okay, so it looks like placing a station on this contour here is going to be the best bet. I think about there will be fine. We'll probably have the line sort of curve round and come back towards Syracuse, and then we'll run another line this way to merge in somewhere around here, although now we've placed the water tower, that does make everything a little bit more awkward. Ah man, there's so many problems in this game. It's fine at the start when there's not much to think of, but once you start getting a bit of spaghetti on the screen it becomes really problematic. Anyway, let's fire this in here. And then we can at least plan what we're going to be doing. Well, see, we can't even really come in here unless we amend this piece of track and get it to double track sooner. I don't really want to do that. See, ideally, the way I build the lines is you have like one line that you attach all of the farms to, and that will be your freight line. And then you have a separate line which would either bridge over or tunnel under or occasionally merge and go through you know, the splines or the sort of bits of track that are coming off leading towards the rural farms, like here. So if we were to run another line, ideally it'd be a completely separate thing and it wouldn't interfere with this. So you'd run it over the top and it would just bridge over at this point. But we've got a bit muddled up as to what we've got passenger lines on and what lines our farms are joining onto. So we've got a switch here. We can bring it into this position. So that's the way we're going to do it. It's not ideal, to be honest, but it will at least get the ball rolling. So it wants to be something like this, but coming the other way. And of course then it's working completely against the contours. Now we can at least come down to, say, here. At least that is working. We are right on the cusp of it being red. Just going to open that up a little. So that will do. We're going to need to switch. I don't know if we're going to have enough room. I was thinking we've got to do 2 switches here. Let's quickly delete that signal. Well, that's fine anyway, we can always extend this towards the left there if we have to. So that is our corn train joining onto the main line, merging through our passenger line. Now let's quickly amend our signals here. So that goes like that, and this one would be placed here. Need to remove this one and move it along. And we do need to just extend that piece of track there. Just going to let the game run for a second or two just to build up a bit more cash and make sure we've got enough to do it. So I'm trying to not spend money where we don't need to, hence not completely double tracking that all the way into the station. We're not actually running many trains between Syracuse and Albany. The only trains we're running here are pretty much running from left to right, so of course it doesn't matter so much about having a single piece of track. So we're going to want a signal here, and that's fine. Maybe we can place another one there. Yep, happy with that. So let's set up a line from our new corn factory to Buffalo. Corn is classed as a food type, I do believe. So we will add a cart, a rail car. So same thing with this corn farm that we've just placed here. We're going to want to double track at least one section of it, so if there is a waiting train it doesn't block up the main line and it can stack itself and wait over here. So we're going to be doing that next. We're getting close to being able to buy something with the research. Chief Engineer. That seems like a very good thing to have. He makes everything that you build, building wise, 3% cheaper. So now if we go to look at placing a station, it's 38,800. So we had a passenger member of staff there. Let's find a passenger train. This one seems to be doing quite well. It was the conductor. So let's double track here, and again I'll do this closest to where we merge onto the main line if we can. Okay, now I presume the angle here is too tight. That is a shame. I thought I'd moved that far enough back, obviously not. It doesn't matter, it just means we'll have to double track this side. It's not particularly convenient. Or not. Whatever. So it looks like we're going to be double tracking up here, and if we have to wait on the main line, then so be it. Right, so we can double track, we can clone our corn train here. I'm actually wondering if there's any need to do that for the time being. Let's have a look at Buffalo. How much corn do we need? 0.8 a week. And we're carrying 7 carts in, so as long as we can do that within 10 weeks-ish, we're going to be supplying enough corn. So what does Buffalo need next? Logs for the time being should be fine, although we do have a sawmills. So the sawmills is going to start using the logs before the town gets to use them. So we are going to want to start supplying logs. That is going to affect the fulfillment of demand there. What else is there? Meat is fine, we're producing that. We obviously want to be getting the beer in. Once Syracuse starts creating more beer, producing more beer, see utilisation is going up, and that's because we've now started to run our wheat trains. We should have a surplus of beer here that can then be brought back to Buffalo. Sugar is fine, that's nice and close by, and we need cloth, but that's for an industry. No, it's not for an industry, so the town actually does require cloth by itself, only 0.4 units a week. So how long did this guy take? 41 days, so it can deliver about 15 units per journey. And what do we need? 1.6 units, so I think we're fine there. I think the best thing to do here is going to be set up our log mills. So we're just going to expand this station, and then we'll run a log train that will probably be sitting here for a lot of the time, but it will obviously still be earning some money. So there's not a lot of thought going to go into this. That is all we're after. So our task, we've had 563 passengers now dropped off in Buffalo, so it looks like we're going to be completing that one, no problems. This is the one I'm worried about. We can now lay our track and place our train. So that's some more money rolling into the coffers. That's also log sorted, corn sorted for the time being. Meat, as long as we are getting cattle in. Cattle down here, it seems stupid not to capitalise on that as well. So that's going to be the next thing. We are going to want to improve some of these stations. They're all single stations for the time being. But traffic between sort of Buffalo and New York isn't particularly a problem. Obviously we've sorted our route from New York to Buffalo. Coming back, it doesn't matter how long they take, to be honest. So let's sort out some cattle for Buffalo. Tempted just to bring this in here, and this is pretty much just for the purpose of growing Buffalo and improving our profits. It's not pretty, It's not like planning for the future. It's just saying to this train, get to that platform as quickly and as efficiently as possible for the time being. So that's going to be fine. 51,000 needed for that. We are going to want to double track our cattle track and at least one position, because we can run 2 trains that way. I think a good place to do that wouldn't be the middle. It would have been the middle. In actual fact, the best place to do it is going to be closest to this station, so we can at least unload our train from the station, and then it will interfere with the log train less. So that's fine. Now we just need a little bit of money to place those 2 trains. And you see some more passengers being dropped off here from New York. And we're on 645. It'll be interesting to see what number we reach.
Somehow, your trains don't run smoothly.
So it looks like it stopped there on 681. So was that 36 passengers? So we only have another 320, so it looks like another less than 10 trips we'll have got that task completed. It's going to be interesting to see how much this piece of expansion up here with Buffalo increases our profits. We're just going to clone this one straight away. The more meat that's produced in Buffalo, the better. We have so many trains that are docking with passengers and then taking freight away. I think Buffalo itself might even starve itself of the meat, because it will be exporting it faster than it can produce it for itself. So that train is fine. We can now clone her. Couple of staff members. Saboteur, which although would be great, it doesn't actually help ourselves at the moment, so we won't be spending any money on that. The market crier, again, I don't think we need another one of those. We're almost completed this task. We're well ahead of its due date. And we must be getting research again soon, yeah, at the end of this month. We'll have another quarterly report month. I'll keep this episode going until then. So the cattle trains are leaving. That's good. So let's have a look at Buffalo again. So we've got corn sorted now, we've got cattle sorted, we've got the logs sorted. We're producing our own meat. We've got beer coming in from Syracuse, but we only have 1 train doing that for the time being. This one. So we're going to clone that and have 2 of them. And that should improve the supply of beer to Buffalo. We really want to ban beer from being transported this way, not that I think it would need it. But we don't have a surplus of beer in Albany. We do have a massive surplus of beer in New York though. How are we doing for beer in Baltimore? Yeah, it looks like we're good for beer here. Beer here. We'll just let that run as it is for the time being. We really need to concentrate our efforts up the top here. Is Syracuse creating enough beer? That's the thing. The brewery. Utilisation is 100% for the time being. How long is our train taking? 44 days. So that's 7 units every 44 days. And how much do we need? 1 point, yeah, that's going to be fine for the time being. Those 2 trains will be fine on that run. Right, so let's run the game. We should start to see some growth here soon once the once some of these other things turn up. We can quickly run a line from the wheat. I think we should do that as well. I was hoping that the land deliveries would be enough here from the grain, but we are on 0, and it's one of the things that the town needs, so if we want to grow the town, we really want to start supplying it. So from up here we already have our piece of track. Ah, that is so handy when you plan like that. It makes everything so much easier. We're just going to have 1 train on this route, so we're not going to worry about double tracking past this point. It's handy, we have just enough money to do it. We are going to tell this train it can wait here, and obviously same thing at the bottom here. And our signals are already sorted on that piece of track. That's nice. So we can now say our wheat train wants to go to Buffalo. We only want to be taking a full load, standard stuff. And we will add a food cart. So that's some more trains. We've got lots of trains now feeding Buffalo, so that really should spike our profits. It'll be interesting to see what they are at the end of this month. Although of course next month will be the one where these routes show up the most, I would think. That's of course unless they don't get their journey done this month, so certainly the wood train looks like it will. And the cattle, yeah, so it should show this month. I can't understand why this number's not going up. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. We have eight items, and we have 1, 2, 3. We only have 4 of them in need, or in stock. 4 of them in need as well. Obviously the wheat train will sort out wheat, so then it'll be 5 and 3. Beer. There's no real milk close enough to warrant bringing it in, I don't think. It's all the way down here. But at least the money seems to be running in quite quickly. Up to 96. Just going to let this run now to the end of the quarter, and we'll see how we've done for this month. That's only a week. Then we can summarise this episode. Oh wow, so there we go, we've just made our task. 800,000. Well, that was easy once we knew what we were doing. Or maybe we didn't. It says 782. I'm sure that last screen said 800,000. Anyway, it is what it is. Looks like we'll be doing that next month anyway, and we're getting close to completing this transportation of 1,000 to Buffalo. Thanks for watching.